What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and in today's video I'm doing a pocket dump. If you're not familiar with my pocket dump series, I do it a little bit differently than most, which are usually gear they carried on a specific day. Instead, I try and fit mine around a particular theme. I think it just makes it a little bit more searchable if you're looking for inspiration on your carry, and still enjoy those other type of videos, but just how I do my pocket dump videos. I do have a playlist on the channel. If you're interested in checking out some of the previous iterations of this, definitely do so. But today's theme is American made, which you may have guessed from the title or the item you see on the table. Now, this item in particular happens to be red, white, and blue, super patriotic, of course, and a lot of the items do follow that theme, but not all of them. And that's because the theme is actually American made, not patriotic looking gear. And so something like the Stars and Stripes edition from Olight won't appear in this video because those are actually made in China. And so still love Olight, but doesn't fit in today's theme. Now, starting off, I went with a Hank from Gondek EDC, which if you're familiar with the channel has appeared a ton, and do their monthly subscription. This was one from their regular store, and so you didn't have to be a subscription member to get this one. And I very intentionally chose Gondek EDC, even though there's a ton of American-made Hank companies that I love, and that's because I paid $10 for this Hank. And so I wanted to start off with something that's really budget conscious and still American made, because the main stigma or stereotype around buying American made is that you're gonna spend a lot of money on it. And although not every item in this video is gonna be super budget conscious, there are quite a few, and I wanted to show that you don't necessarily have to break the bank to buy American made. And so starting with Gondek EDC, really great selection. Obviously all of them aren't going to look so patriotic. They have a lot of really great themes, but all of them will be made in America. And so going from there, we're going to another budget-friendly item. This one from Recycled Firefighter. This is one of their minimalist wallets, front pocket wallet. You can see it only has a single card slot as well as a cast strap, and so really minimal, super flat. And I've shown these on the channel before. This one's obviously in red, white, and blue. They have a lot of great color options, usually two-tone, not three-tone like this one, but a lot of great options out there. Now, depending on when you buy this, if you wait for a sale, a lot of times these will be buy one, get two free. The regular standard price is $30, but you can get them for a percentage off, or in that buy one, get two free deal, in which case you're paying $10 for this wallet, which I think is well worth it for an American-made wallet. Also, a really cool story behind these, and just kind of talking point if you have these wallets, is the material that they use is actually decommissioned fire hose that they buy from various fire departments after they've been decommissioned, usually because they're worn out or just older and need to be replaced. And so sometimes you'll see print on here as well from the department. None of the ones I've gotten have had that print, but I do think it adds a little bit of character, so I would not be upset if I did get one that was printed on. But they're really durable because of what they're made out of. They look great, great conversation piece, and budget friendly, American made. Next up, I do like to write some things, like if I'm meeting with clients, if I'm making lists, that sort of thing. I'm a kind of analog person, enjoy writing, and don't necessarily want to be on my phone or typing when I'm in a client meeting. You know, they think maybe you're not paying attention, and so I do like to write in those environments. So went with a Log and Jotter notebook. One of my favorite pocket notebooks, same size as the Field Notes, 3.5 by 5.5. Chose this one because it's red and says made in America, but a lot of really great designs. Now, you don't get to choose. This is a subscription service, $5 a month, so another budget-friendly option. We're about to jump up after this item, but only $5 a month, some really great designs. They only have a one notebook subscription now. It used to be two. This was from March 2023, one of the last 2 notebook subscription months. And so really, really great notebook. You have the option of blank pages, dot pages, or grid pages. And so a couple of different options there. And you'll get some really great designs. They mix it up too. So there's some like fun, nerdier ones, some modern designs, some really traditional designs. And so a lot of different options there. Now, as promised, we're about to jump up in budget with our pen. Went with the Tactile Turn bolt action pen. This one is titanium. Most of them are titanium, although I have an Ultim one as well. This one's titanium, gonna run you around $100. This is bolt action, which is really cool. And machined in Texas, manufactured in Texas. Really great looking pen, really great operation, takes a lot of different inserts, and you may not be able to tell from the camera, it might look smooth, but it actually is textured. So it got a nice grip on it and just a really great looking pen. Now, when I got this in the Going Gear subscription and a couple times since then, I've mentioned that I don't know that I would necessarily spend this much on a pen, but I've bought a few from Tactile Turn at this point, so clearly I will. Now, they're not the most budget friendly, but they look incredible. They're American made, and you're helping the environment a little bit. You're by not throwing away the plastic pens. You do obviously throw away that insert, but you can put just the insert in here, save the environment while adding a great looking piece of gear to your EDC. Now, from there, I'm gonna jump to a flashlight. Already mentioned it's not gonna be an O-light. I went with just American Classic. This is from Maglite, the Solitaire. First one where we're really kind of out of theme here. And this is just a black one. I do have a blue one, but it's one of those huge ones, and so didn't include it because wouldn't really EDC it. It's like the 3D battery ones. This one takes a AAA, will fit on your keychain, nice small size, twist on. Only one light option, but nice and bright, decent light. And so Maglite, like I said, is just kind of an American classic. My dad always had one in his truck. We had one in next to our safe, which for some reason was in my childhood room, but just always had Maglites around. And so this one's kind of a classic for me and not super expensive. I think this is around $20 or so. From there, let's get into knives. Didn't want to include like my Chris Reeve Sebenza because that's over $500. Neither of these knives are super budget conscious, but they're also not extremely expensive. I have knives made in China more expensive than both of these knives, and so they're kind of mid-tier. Wouldn't consider them budget by any means, but started off with the ProTech PT Plus. I wanted to include a ProTech in here because they are right in my backyard, made here in California. This is a really great option, obviously an automatic, but they have some non-automatic options as well, which I've shown on the channel, like the Malibu or the Mordax. And so really great knife. It's kind of a smaller automatic knife, and this one is blue, so it fit in really well, especially with the knife I'm going to show next. And there are budget options. I know Kershaw has some that are made in America that aren't super expensive. You can get like a case if you're into traditional for under $100, $50 to $80 probably. And so there are some American made options that aren't going to break the bank. These ones, I don't remember the price on this. This is probably $220 or so, so not incredibly expensive, but also wouldn't consider it cheap. Now the next one for sure is going to get some hate. This is the Benchmade Bug Out, the Supreme version. So people hate Benchmade, people hate Supreme, so combine that, you're going to get a decent amount of hate for this, but still a cool knife. The billboarding, I acknowledge, is insane, but this has really grown on me, and I wish actually that they would make a solid red and solid blue version like the back of this knife. I think this looks really, really killer with that red coating on the blade and the red anodization on the handles, but cool little knife. I think this one is close to $300 or so, which isn't too bad with that Supreme markup and that Benchmade tax. It's not incredibly horrible. Now that is silver, it's not white, but together this looks like just a nice red, white, and blue carry, which is why I think those look kind of good together. Benchmade is made in Oregon, so all of their knives are made in Oregon. I don't think they have anything made outside of the US, maybe their tools and stuff like that, but at least all of their knives are made in their Oregon facility. From there, let's get into a multi-tool. This one was pretty obviously, honestly, and I went with the Leatherman Charge just because this one has the red G10, and most Leathermans are made in America. Well, all Leathermans are made in America, but they were sued at one point for not being 100% American made. And so certain tools like the plier heads, like the file, and like the corkscrew in particular, are not made in America. I think some of their hardware also may not be made in America, but they did win the lawsuit because to advertise American made, you have to be 70% American made, and the tool that was least American made was still made 83% of the components were made in America. And so still American made, but do know that not 100% of the parts are made in America. Now that might be true for some of these other ones, I just don't know. I know that for Leatherman because of the lawsuit, but the Charge is a really cool tool, one of the most expensive in their lineup. They do get a decent bit cheaper. Now this is one I don't carry a ton just because it's heavy. I've been kind of trending towards lighter multi-tools for a while now, and so this doesn't get a ton of carry, but I do think it's a great looking one, and one of their more popular models has an S30V blade on here. Now this G10 version I believe is an REI exclusive, but they did a bunch of exclusives with different color G10s if you're looking for that. Now, last two items are items that may or may not be in some people's EDC, the first being a lighter, and went with another really obvious one. This is a Zippo, and if you flip to the bottom of any of your Zippos, this one may not be showing up that greatly because it's Cerakoted, but Bradford, PA, made in USA. So all Zippos are made in the USA. This one happens to have the dual torch lighter insert, but in any kind that you get is going to be made in the USA. Didn't have a red, white, and blue one, surprisingly. I did have a red one, but I've been liking this one a lot lately, so this is the one I put in the video. But this is a collaboration with Tobacco Tactical, and they did the Cerakoting. They just bought the Zippo and Cerakoted it themselves, but really, really cool lighter. Now, last up is an item most people won't EDC, and I myself only carry if I have a bag to put them in. I'm not going to put these in my pocket, but like to have a deck of cards just in case you want to play solitaire or play poker or whatever you want with people. And so chose this one. It's a collaboration between King's Wild Project and Bicycle, both of which utilize the United States Playing Card Company to make their cards, which of course are printed right here in America. And so this one is obviously an Americana edition made in the United States, and just a really good looking deck of cards. I chose this one because some of the extras cards that you get in here, as well as the pattern being red, white, and blue, but some of the extra cards you get in here are kind of cool. You have these flag ones, as well as this one with a quote from John Adams to Abigail Adams on July 3rd of 1776, which obviously day before July 4th here. And the Ace of Spades is also really cool, landed the free, home of the brave. Just kind of threw that one in the front. All of the rest are pretty normal, just what you'd expect cards. But the Ace of Spades has that cool, landed the free, home of the brave. And the extra cards that you get in here are also pretty cool. And so that's everything in my American Made pocket dump video. I will probably do an updated one of these maybe in the future, because there's a ton of great companies that are American made at varying price points. You don't have to break the bank to buy American made. Like I said, even the knives, which were the priciest items in here, I have knives made in China that are pricier, and so just because it's American made doesn't necessarily mean it's more expensive, although sometimes that is the case. But really, really cool items in today's video. Let me know what you think, what you would include in your American made, specifically brands. I guess not specifically items, because I have a ton of Pro-Tacs. I just chose these ones because they fit the color scheme, but specific brands that maybe people aren't aware are American made or that just don't get enough love, leave them in the comments below. But thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And as always, hope you have a great one. Take care.